So in the last video we talked about Marchridge, so now moving on to our second small town we have Dixie. Well, it's not really a small town, it's more like a trailer park with some cool locations around it, but for simplicity's sake we're just going to call it a town. Congratulations Dixie, you've been promoted. So let's talk about what's in Dixie. Well, it's not a lot. The majority of the buildings are just trailers which aren't really super interesting, but some of them do have some bookshelves inside, so they can actually be worth checking out. But besides that, all there really is a supermarket, laundromat, diner, and a gas station. And then what I would argue would be the most interesting part of Dixie would be these storage containers in the parking lot. The two at the top have tons of wooden logs and planks, so instead of chopping down a bunch of trees, you can just come down here instead. And if you ever get thirsty, all you need to do is come down to the bottom container, which is filled with an ungodly amount of soda. So you can do in-game what I do in real life, and ignore your body's need for water, and just fill yourself up with that sweet, sweet diabetes liquid. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is inside of Dixie, and now you may be thinking, well damn, there really isn't much inside here, this place seems pretty mid. And that would be true if it weren't for the locations around Dixie. Well yes, the trailer park of Dixie may not have much, the areas around Dixie may have some more appealing looting locations for you. So starting off a little to the north, there's an intersection of a few buildings. At the top of the intersection, there's a gas station and a large clothing store, and then at the bottom you have a Spiffos and a used car dealership. But then if you move down to the right of Dixie, there'll be a camping site far off into the woods, which doesn't have a lot of loot besides this one building that had a ton of ammo, but I'm not really sure if that's normal or if I just got insanely lucky, but either way, this place may be an interesting place to call home if you tend to enjoy living further away from populated areas. Then towards the left of Dixie, again far off into the woods, there's Ben's cabin. I'm not exactly sure who Ben is, but he most likely is dead, so I'm sure he won't mind you staying at his place if you want to live that peaceful wilderness life. Then down to the south, there's a trailer next to a house, which could make for a well-protected base, because one, it's out in the woods, and two, it's almost completely fenced off, with the only way of zombies getting in being over this short part of the fence. And then in the house next to the trailer, I was actually able to find some pretty decent loot, so maybe worth checking out. Then a little more to the south, there's a rail yard, which really doesn't have a lot of loot, but who knows, maybe you could turn this into a base and do some weird terminus role-playing, because the majority of this area is fenced off, so it isn't an impossible task. And those were all the interesting areas I was able to find around Dixie. But before I end the video, there is one more thing I do want to talk about. The zombie population in Dixie is actually pretty high, especially around the highway area, so be aware of that before you decide to come visit. And if you are planning on going to Dixie through the highway, be careful because there is a good portion of the road that's blocked off by a bunch of wrecked cars, so be alert because I've seen some pretty weird shit happen on this road. But yeah, that's Dixie. Lots of soda, lots of zombies, but not a lot else. There are some pretty cool locations around Dixie, but nothing I'd really call amazing, so I'm thinking I'm gonna give this place a solid 4 out of 10 rating, solely because of all the soda. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please go down and hit that like and subscribe button, it's a great way to support the channel, and comment down below if you think Dixie's a good place to travel to, and I'll see you all in the next one.